What's up, everybody? Benji Bruce here. We were actually on a different page earlier on the Speaking Lifestyle page. I forgot I was on the wrong page. So now we are on the right page, and let's get going. I want to talk about your goals, making your goals selfish. I just did the intro to the other, on the other page. So I'm going to do I'm not going to do the intro again, but basically most people, they have politically correct goals. So if you want to actually accomplish a lot of things, then your goals they can't be politically correct because they don't motivate you. And what I mean by politically correct goals is when you wake up in the morning, you say to yourself things like, I want to change the world, or I want to help all these people. Those are politically correct goals. Those are the PC goals, where it sounds great, but it doesn't really motivate you. You're waking up every single day wondering like, hey, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? You're waking up every day wondering like, what should I be doing? And so I got sucked into the politically correct goals a long time ago. And it's just because all the motivational books that you read, all the content that you see on YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is, all this stuff that you see, it's politically correct. Everything. What really makes things happen is what's happening behind the scenes. When this is not turned on, when Facebook, Instagram, when it's not turned on, what's happening behind the scenes, that's what you really need to pay attention to. That's what's impossible to notice amongst anyone, no matter who you're looking at. Me, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, not trying to say that they're on my level, but no matter who you're looking at, you have to understand that whatever they're putting out, whatever you see, that's not what is actually happening, especially when they're talking about all this stuff with politically correct goals. So you have to truly understand that. And this is why when people say like, oh, make your goals, you want to change the world, all that sort of stuff, it doesn't make sense. Think about it like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. For those of you who are into psychology, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I think I'm saying that right. Basically at the very bottom is survival. This is where you got to figure out, how am I going to get food, water? This is just survival. At the very top is self-actualization. And so self-actualization is when you can focus on other people. In the beginning, you got to focus on yourself. You can't help anybody if you can't get freaking food or water. The same goes with your goals. In the beginning, your goals literally have to be about money. If your goal is not about money and you're building a business, it's not going to work. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. You're way at the bottom, especially in the beginning. You can't possibly say, I'm going to change the world when you can't even feed yourself. And so you have to understand that your goals need to be selfish to a point where it motivates you to take the actions that you need to where you can say, like Bill Gates, hey, I'm going to go freaking cure HIV. I'm going to go cure all these diseases. You can get to that point. In the beginning, Bill Gates didn't do that. Bill Gates is like, I'm going to make as much money as possible. That's what Bill Gates did in the beginning. And so it's like you're taking these steps as you grow. And so most people, they just get sucked into these politically correct goals. A lot of people, especially like when it comes to money, when you tell people, oh, I want to make money, I want to do $1 million this year, 2 million, whatever it is, you tell people you want to make money, what do they say? Oh, money doesn't bring you happiness. It's not about the money. It's like, dude, shut up. Like, I didn't say I was trying to be happy. Like, shoot, I'm happy right now. Shoot, I just said I want some freaking money. You brought up the happiness part. And so it's one of those things where you truly, truly have to get it through your head. When I was like really trying to just get hired as an entertainer, and I was sending out a minimum of 100 emails a day, I was trying to figure out like, all right, what's going to actually motivate me? And what motivated me was thinking about the money. And that's what motivated me. I'm like, hey, the only way I was able to send out 100 emails a day, in terms of getting hired as a mentalist, it was by focusing on how much am I going to make as an entertainer. That's all I focus on. It wasn't like, I'm going to change the world with this mentalism stuff. I didn't think of any of that stuff. I could easily tell people that. It'd make me look good, make me sound good. Oh yeah, when I was doing this mentalism stuff, I just like to see the faces light up on everyone's eyes. I like to change the world, and it was just great. Hell no. I mean, it was cool seeing that, but it was even better making the money. And so I'm telling you from the get-go, if you aren't doing the things that are motivating you, you're going to wake up every single day like, hey man, I don't really feel like doing it. You're going to keep procrastinating because you keep having these politically correct goals that aren't actually doing anything for you. So the purpose of every goal is to get you to take an action. That's the purpose of your goals. It's to get you to do things. And so when you say things like, I'm going to help the world, I'm going to change the world, and you wake up the next day and you don't actually do anything, that's the wrong goal. You set the wrong goal. But if you wake up, if you say, my goal is to make freaking $100,000 this month, or whatever. Your goal is a money goal. And my goal is to make money, right? So if you do that and then you wake up, you're like, all right, let's go, let's get it. Well, now that's your goal because it motivated you to take action. And so that's what you focus on. What are the things that's going to get me to take action? So when you think of X, does it do Y for you? When you think of changing lives, does it actually help you get to work? When you think of making money, does it actually help you get to work? You have to truly understand that. It's even small things throughout the day. Like when I was doing all the prospecting, in the beginning, I couldn't get myself motivated to actually contact people. I'd contact a couple people, but I couldn't contact enough consistently. And so what I did is I simply changed the goal to be more like a game. So I turned it into a game where I was sending the emails. I was like, all right, so you just sent out in 60 minutes, you sent out 40 emails. All right, let me see if I can get 45 this time. And so I would turn it into a game and my goal shifted and it motivated me to actually do the actions. If I had any other goal in terms of turning that prospecting game or just turning prospecting not into a game, just doing prospecting, I'd be bored as all hell. Like, oh man, all right, oh damn it, all right, another freaking email. But what I did is I turned it into a game to motivate me. And so it's not what you say something does, it's what it actually does to you. So once again, remember what I said. When you're watching people on Instagram, Facebook, no matter what it is, you see the content on YouTube, no matter what it is the tip of the iceberg about that person. So what you have to do is you have to understand, like, hey, they're not telling you things. They're not telling you that they are motivated by the frustration. They're not telling you that when people tell them no, that's what motivates them. Instead, when they produce content, they produce politically correct content. They say, hey guys, hey everybody, listen up, Benji, Bruce here. We're going to talk about your goals. Your goals should be big. Your goals should change the world. And in reality, their goal is to make as much money off your ass as possible. So they're not telling you the truth. You have to do the things that actually motivate you to take action. That's what you have to do. Forget these politically correct goals. It's about what you do when nobody's looking, what you do when you're not recording yourself, what you do when you're not faking it on freaking Instagram and Facebook, what you're actually doing behind the scenes. If you don't have the goals that actually motivate you to do those things, then you're just not setting the right goals. And so you just got to remember that when we are by ourselves, when we're in private, we're more ourselves. So when you sit down and you're filming an Instagram story or Facebook or whatever, Snapchat, whatever, and you're doing that, you are not actually being you. You are presenting a mask that you have to society. You're not being yourself at that moment. And so when you turn that off, what do you do when that turns off? If you're not actually doing the things that produce the revenue in your business, that actually grows the business, then you have to change your goals. I mean, think about when you're by yourself, what do? I mean, you pick your nose. I know you pick your nose. You drop a fork on the ground and you're like, oh, 3-second rule. I know you do it. I know you walk around the house naked. I know what you're doing by yourself. You gotta say to yourself, like, hey, when I'm by myself, I gotta make sure that I'm actually working. I'm actually doing these things. I'm actually doing things that actually motivate me, or I'm doing things because this thing motivates me. And so you just need to know, like, what actually motivates you. There is nothing wrong with being motivated by money. Let me say that again. There's nothing wrong with being motivated by money. Money is something you absolutely need. 100%. You need money. I don't care what anybody says. People keep saying, oh, it doesn't bring you happiness. Didn't say anything about happiness. I said I need money. I mean, there isn't a single thing in your life that you have that you didn't get without money. And so if you are motivated by money, that is your goal. If you're motivated by helping people, that is your goal. If you're motivated by, I don't know, just because you just like filming videos, that is your goal. Well, it probably should be a bigger goal than that. But if you're motivated by wanting to prove people wrong, you wake up every day and people just told you no, people bullied you, people talked about you, people, I don't know, whatever. If you're motivated by proving people wrong, be motivated by proving people wrong. It may be petty. Who cares? It's petty, but before you know it, you're doing 5 million and they're freaking begging for change on the corner. And so you got to remember, like, hey, you do what you need to do to motivate you. It doesn't matter if people agree with it. If it's politically correct, doesn't matter. You do what you need to do to motivate you. If you are pissed off, if you You want to see your product all around the world. You want to be, a lot of people say it's insecure. You want to be famous and all that. You want people to recognize you. Who cares? Let them call you insecure. Let them say, oh, that person's insecure. He wants everyone to know who he is. Who cares? It motivates you. That's what you have to focus on. And so ultimately, you shouldn't allow anyone to tell you what you should and shouldn't be motivated by. Whatever you're motivated by just needs to actually motivate you. That's what I mean by actually getting your goals to a point where it's really selfish. Your motivation can't come out of anger. And I'm going to do a whole different, Facebook Live on this topic. Just getting your motivation to come through anger. And this is what I talked about the other day with Kobe Bryant, where Kobe Bryant basically, all this stuff happened, tore his Achilles heel. And then the crowd, they were even shouting at him like, Kobe sucks. Kobe sucks. And so Kobe used all that anger, and then the Black Mamba was created, and he just destroyed everybody, like absolutely destroyed competitors. And he used his anger to actually motivate him. Some people, in fact, not some people, I know 100%. This guy sent me an email the other day. He was like, Benji, I like your stuff and I read a lot of it, but this one, I don't know if you should let anger actually motivate you or whatever. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. You can let anger motivate you. You can let happiness motivate you. You can let whatever it is motivate you. Whatever motivates you, that's what you need to do. Kobe, he let anger motivate him, and shoot, it worked. Dude's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And so it worked. That's what you do. It's not about what people say should or shouldn't motivate you. If money motivates you, that's your goal. If helping the world motivates you, that's your goal. If the fact that you're frustrated, pissed off, you want to prove everybody wrong, the anger, if that motivates you, that's your goal. You use whatever you have to actually motivate you. You have to remember that everything is trying to compete for your attention. Everything around you, phones, everything is trying to compete for your attention. And so your goals need to be so selfish that nothing can possibly compete with it. Your goals are so selfish that it consumes you because you can't not let it consume you. That's how selfish your goals are. It's like, hey, here's my goal, and then nothing else competes for your time. Literally imagine, this is why I think the best description is, imagine if someone from your family got kidnapped. And your goal, your goal would be to get them back, right? So your goal, hey, I got to get them back. What happens? That goal is so strong, so powerful for you that it consumes you. It consumes all of your time. When someone sends you a text, hey, let's go grab it. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do lunch. Hey, let's go watch a movie. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that, because it consumes you. That goal, it naturally consumes. Hey, my family got kidnapped. I need to do something about this thing. So you need to let your goals consume you. If it does not consume you, you probably have the wrong goal. You're basically saying, I've got zero time for anything except this thing that I'm trying to do. And here are my goals. If it's not here on this list, it's not there. It's not in my life. That's what needs to happen in terms of your goals. Your goals basically need to be tied up. It needs to be so tied up in terms of who you are, or well, yeah, I guess it needs to be tied up in terms of who you are, not really just doing things. And so when it's tied up in who you are, it becomes an obsession. It's one of those things where you can't get away from it because it's part of you. It's not something you do. So that's what I mean by making your goals selfish. They're part of you. It's not just something you do. Most people won't understand what you're trying to do. They won't understand you, your goals, none of that. Who cares? You don't need to prove yourself to other people. You don't need to describe, or you don't need to tell them what it is you're trying to do or anything. You just don't. People will not understand you. They will not understand your goals. That's okay. Let them live their life. You live your life. So don't try to explain it to them. Nothing. Like literally, I got to a point where I just stopped trying to explain stuff to people. Literally, I'm just thinking, you know what? If someone says, why do you do this? Just 'cause. This is literally what I say now. Just 'cause. I may have a full explanation about why I do things, but I do not say it anymore because there's no point in saying it. There's no point in having that conversation. And so understand that people, they will not understand your goals, especially if they're big goals or whatever. They will not understand those goals. Don't try to explain it. Just let them do them and you do you. That's all it is. If you have to, create a red herring goal, Red herring is, for all you the people in the film, it came from the film industry, or maybe it came from somewhere else, but I learned it from the film industry. A red herring, the definition of it is a clue that's intentionally distracting. Basically, it's put there to throw people off. off. And they use it in pretty much almost every movie, or a lot of movies have a red herring. And so your red herring goal, what I mean by this is, if you go to people and you say, if someone says, what's your goal? My goal is to make money. Well, I mean, money doesn't bring you happiness. And I mean, if you say things like that, if you say goals that aren't politically correct, people always respond in that way. It shouldn't be about money. Money doesn't bring you happiness. They always respond in that way. And so you create a red herring goal to where it's like, look, I'm not going to really tell this person what my goal is because I don't want to have this stupid conversation about, money doesn't bring you happiness. I don't want to have a stupid conversation about that. So I'm just going to tell them, my goal is to help change the world. And then at that point, they're like, you're noble. And so it once again, it's not about, they're not living your life. So if you have to choose, let's say making money actually motivates you, and then you saying, I'm going to change the world, it doesn't do a damn thing for you. So you have to go over here. You have to say in your mind, making money motivates me. You have to do that because that's the only way you're going to actually accomplish things. And so when people say to you, well, what's your goal? You don't tell them this because you know that stupid conversation is going to pop up. You tell them this. You're like, my goal is to change the world. And that's what you do because you don't want to have that conversation with people. Ultimately, you're like an illusionist. Think about what an illusionist does. So if you watch any type of show with an illusionist, what happens to your brain is you say, how did he do that? What? Damn, how did he do that? A lot of people will ask you that. I mean, I remember doing all these mentalism shows. In fact, damn near everybody says it. Everybody says it. You perform something, you read their mind, tell them how much money they have in their wallet, bend a coin, whatever it is. What always happens, they say, how did you do that? Now, here's the thing. If I were to tell you how I was able to guess the amount of money in your pocket, or how I was able to figure out the name you were thinking of, if I were to tell you exactly how I did it, it wouldn't be impressive to you anymore. You'd be like, like it would deflate you. It's almost like telling a kid that Santa Claus doesn't exist. People ask that question, but they don't really want the answer. The same goes with goals. You are an illusionist. You cannot tell people what that goal is or what motivates you if it's not politically correct. If it's money, you don't tell people that because once again, you're like an illusionist. It's like when they say, how did you do that? And all of a sudden you tell them how the trick works. Well, at that point, everything just changes. At that point, they simply, literally, it's like deflated. Like they just been told that Santa Claus doesn't exist. They're like, And so that's literally what happens. So you have to think of yourself as an illusionist when it comes to your goals. You want to have a goal for you and your business. Or, I mean, it can be just one if you want, but the purpose, the goal of your business is to make money. That's just a fact. There is no business out there that's in business that doesn't make money. That's a fact. Even a nonprofit, they make money. They just don't happen to show revenue at the end of the year. So every single business out there that's in business makes money. And so your goal for your business is to make money. And on top of that is to serve the customers. It's ultimately two goals. Really, serving the customers is ultimately number one because that's the only way you're going to make money. If you don't focus on the customers, your business isn't going to make money at all. And so that's why you really, really do have to be like Amazon, where you're literally focused on the customers. You literally say, all right, anyone who buys a program, I'm going to make them as much money as possible. Anyone who does this, I'm going to help them with this. Like, you literally do have to focus on that because that is how you make money. But those are your business goals. Then you can have separate goals. You can say, you know what? I want to retire by the time I'm 30. I want to do this or whatever. Whatever your goals are, you can have separate goals from the business, but you want to have two different goals if you want. And so ultimately, the best goals are never ending. So a never ending goal is a goal that doesn't end. So a never ending goal is something like money is a perfect example. It doesn't end. It's like, I just hit 1 million. All right, let me try to do 2 million. All right, let me do 10 million. Let me do 100 million. Let me do 1 billion. Let me do 1 trillion. It never ends. It can't end. So you want to have a never ending goal because, just because if you were to reach your goal, what happens is you instantly get demotivated. You reach a goal. Let's say your goal is to make 10 million, or let's say your goal is to make 1 million. You reach a goal and then you're just like, doesn't feel the way I thought it would feel. That's literally what happens when you actually reach your goal. You're just like, okay, wow, that's cool. And then you're just like, what else? And so it's one of the reasons why when people retire, they they get bored. So it's like you retire, you're like, all right, I retired. And they're like, all right, let me just go drive for Uber. Happens all the time. I mean, I would do it too. If I retired, I'd be bored. I'd be like, I gotta do something. Let me go drive for Uber or something. Like, that's literally what happens. And so you have to set a never ending goal, even whether it's making money, whether it's helping people, helping the world. I mean, think about that. If your goal is to literally just change the world, that's a never ending goal. I mean, are you really going to reach 7 billion people or a little over 7 billion? So you gotta create a never ending goal. That way you technically can't reach it. You can make progress and you can see the progress, but you can't actually reach that goal. So also understand that goals change as you change. In the beginning, remember how I said Maslow's hierarchy of needs? The bottom is the food and just survival, and the top is self-actualization. In the beginning, your goal is strictly money. You literally can't do anything without money. So your goal in the beginning is money. That's survival for a business. And so as you actually start to improve, your goal can start changing. It can start shifting as you start to grow. When you hear someone who's really wealthy say, they say things like, oh, money doesn't really motivate me. I don't really think about money. What they're saying is, right now, I don't think about money. Right now, money doesn't motivate me. What they didn't tell you is that when they started, when they were broke as a joke, all they thought about was money. That's all they focused on was money. That's what they're not telling you, because they're not telling you the whole shift that happened throughout their entire business career. And so think about it like this. Nobody who makes money keeps money without thinking about money. It's a fact. Even the people in the law of attraction, all that stuff, they're like, oh, just visualize and all that. But I mean, don't really think about the money. Like, well, you're talking about visualization and hoping, making things come to you. Why don't you think about money coming to you all the time, right? And so you just got to understand that people who make money, they didn't make it by accident. They make it by actually thinking about how to make that thing. And so your goals are going to change as time goes on. So in the beginning, it's strictly money, 100% focus on money. When you actually start making money, and I think it's about the $250,000 mark, or maybe they say even like 200 grand or something like that. But at a certain point, maybe 150 grand, 200 grand, 250 grand, something like that. At a certain point, you feel more secure because you have a certain amount of money. So you feel more secure and you actually get more comfortable. And so, at that point, your motivation, your goals can shift just from, I'm just going to make money to, let's do this or whatever. Your goals can shift. But in the beginning, it is 100% focused on money. You have to focus on money in the beginning. It's survival for a business. You just can't. And so, when you actually, let's say you accomplish a goal, let's say you're thinking, I don't want to be a billionaire. I'm not trying to make 10 million. I don't need to do that. I'm good to go just doing $250,000 or $500,000. I'm good to go with that. And then just hang out with the family and do all that. Hey, that can be a goal. As long as that motivates you, you can do that. But what has to happen is you have to create new goals as you accomplish the old ones. And this is why I keep saying that never ending goal is the best one, because you don't have to create a new goal. You just say, all right, my goal is this. And then it never ends. You just keep thinking about how to improve it. You literally got to think about it as you're playing a never ending basketball game or tennis game or football, whatever sport you like the most. You're playing a never ending game. And that's how you really have to think about it. Your goals must be selfish. I can't stress this enough. Too many people out there are talking about politically correct goals. Sounds great when you say it to other people, but in reality, it doesn't motivate them. If you have a goal, if you're writing down your goals and it's not motivating you every single day to do things, then you have the wrong goals. It's not doing anything for you. Stop coming up with these politically correct goals. Those politically correct goals can be your red herring goals. When someone says, well, what's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? You can tell them your red herring goals, but in reality, you behind the scenes, when you're dancing naked in your house, when you're picking your nose and you drop the fork on the ground, you're actually eating from that fork. When you're by yourself, when Instagram and Facebook isn't working, that's the moment when you have to truly sit back and say, what's the goal that actually motivates me? Nobody's watching. Nobody's listening. What actually motivates me? And then from there, that is your goal. You focus on that thing. And that is what's going to actually get you to do the work. So that's how you really do it. All right. Let's see if there was anything else here. Jay-Z. Yeah. Jay-Z was funny is, Jay-Z was the person. See, I always thought that, I always kept my goals to myself. Like every single time, I always kept my goals to myself. They say if you have a goal, tell everybody, tell the world about your goal. And I always thought that doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, to me, I'm more motivated when I keep the goals to myself. And I always thought it was just me. Then I heard something about Jay-Z. I think it was like in his book or something on the biography. And Jay-Z did the same thing. Jay-Z kept his goals to himself. I mean, not saying Jay-Z's on my level, but Jay-Z did the same thing. I mean, Jay-Z kept his goals to himself, use it to motivate him, and bam. And so, ultimately you're doing what motivates you. It's not about what people tell you to do. If I tell you, like right now, I'm telling you, make your goals selfish. If that doesn't motivate you, do not do that. Just don't. I tell people, hey, use anger to fuel your ambition. If that doesn't motivate you, don't do it. And so all you do are the things that actually get you to do the actions that you need to take to accomplish the goals. When people say put your goals out into the world, tell the world, if that motivates you, do it. But me, it didn't motivate me in any way. In fact, it did the opposite. So I stopped telling people about my goals. I said, all right, here's my goal. People should be able to guess what my goal is based on the actions I take, not based on the freaking Facebook post that I just made. And so that's ultimately what you're trying to do with everything that you're trying to accomplish. You have to make goals selfish to actually get things done. All right, so let's see. David said, this is why I'm liking your info. Cool. All right, so he said, right, this dude speaks my language. All right, cool. What's up, Mom? Mom hopped on. As always, all right, we got that. Being noble doesn't pay your rent. She said, my bills are demanding. They must be fed, and I'm addicted to getting paid. Yep. All right, cool. So I guess we are good to go for today. No more questions. So I will see you guys Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Just remember, guys, make your goals selfish. Do whatever it takes to motivate you. They don't need to be politically correct goals. If you have a goal like making money, you need to have a red herring goal at the same time. So whenever you tell someone what your goal is, look at how people respond to that goal. If they don't respond in a good way, then you simply create a red herring goal. That's all you do. Because once again, I have no problem saying like, yeah, my goal is I'm making money. That's for sure. I mean, my goal is making money, and you can have multiple goals, by the way. It's not just one goal. So it's like, I think along the lines of helping the old version of me out. So the old version of me was a guy who was struggling, trying to get on stages, trying to market himself as a mentalist, struggling all that. And like, I picture that old version of me, and that's what I'm essentially helping out just in the long run. So I'm helping that person out. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, my goal hands down is to make money. The only reason I'm actually saying this is because I want people to see what it's really like when you're actually growing a business. I'm sick and tired of all these people coming out with all this content, just politically correct content. That's what all the content is about. Political correctness. I mean, I see people on Instagram and everything. Everyone's focusing on likes, comments, and all that. They're not building a real business. And so, I'm done with being politically correct. And I'm telling you guys, you got to make your goals selfish. If you want to make money, if anger fuels you, if the fact that you want to prove everybody wrong and people say that's insecure, you shouldn't know. Who cares? I don't care if it's insecure. If you become Michael Jordan because you want to prove the world wrong, do that. Become Michael Jordan. Doesn't matter how insecure you are. Do whatever you need to do to freaking get the end result that you want to get to. It doesn't matter what people say. Create a red herring goal if you have to. So I will see you guys Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So thanks everybody for showing up. Take care, everybody.